Welcome to this session, recording with Audacity. So what we're going to start off with is I'm going to cover some introduction of some of the basic tools in Audacity. You can also, in the X Drive Teacher Tools, you can find the Audacity install file, the lame install which you need to download or export MP3 files, and also resource and support documents. After we've covered that, then we're going to look at how do you record audio using Audacity, demonstrate importing an audio file, something say as music, background music, or another audio file. And then we're going to practice using the fade tool. This allows you to fade in, fade the volume while you're talking, and then also to fade out at the end. And the last thing is exporting the final product as an MP3 file. You go to the X Drive Teacher Tools, Audacity. In there, again, you'll find the applications for the Audacity for Windows. And again, you need this lame file, which will allow you to do the MP3s. Speaking of those, some of the basic tools that you're going to take a look at in recording with Audacity. Again, you'll see this double arrow that allows you to move your track left or right. Your record button and all your buttons controlling up here at top. The source of your recording. So again, we're going to be using the microphone. This shows you the input level. And also you have the audio track, the different tracks. We'll show how you can turn those off and on if you're working with one or the other. And then the next thing we got is looking at just some basic podcasting using Audacity. So this is your selection tool that allows you to select it. It's going to give you this cursor on your timeline here to be able to select different pieces. And if you click and drag, you can highlight or select. Also your play and record, your stop button, and also this timeline that gives you the time of your audio track. So I'm going to bring up Audacity here, and here's what a new Audacity file looks like. Again, at the top, those controls that we talked about. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click record and just record a little bit of me talking. And here I am talking and explaining to you kind of what we're doing. And then I'm going to go up here and I'm going to hit stop. And I can go back and use my selector tool to select the beginning. And you can hit play, or you can use the space bar that allows you to play that. And here I am talking and explaining to you kind of what we're doing. Now again, one of the quick things to edit, if I want to move this file, maybe I want to locate it differently. Again, the double arrows allows me to move that, so I can move that track around. But if I want to select something, maybe I want to delete off this last piece because I didn't really need it. I'm just going to left click and drag. Something else I learned is if you go right over the edge, if you need to nudge it just a little bit so you get that finger point thing there, it allows you to stretch out. And then just hit your delete button and that track will be gone. So if you undo, edit, undo, delete, if you make a mistake, you can undo that as well. So we're going to go ahead and take and just delete that track, close that out. So now we have a clean slate again. And I'm going to take and record a little poem on rivers. And so we're going to go here and hit the record button. Rivers, a poem by Corinthian Danish. Rivers are like the veins in a body. They carry the blood of a nation. Rivers are rich during monsoons. They are poor in summer. I would like to live near a river, hearing its water give a sweet music. I would like to sleep on its bank, dreaming about a day that I am also a river. If I ever become a river once, I will run across dry lands and see a sweet smile on the farmers' faces as they begin to till in the wet field. Rivers are the great gifts we have. They are our wealth and life. Rivers are veins in our body. They carry the blood of a nation. I've done that, so now that's about 36 seconds. I'm going to clean off this last part where I wasn't talking. Highlight and delete that. And then I'm going to go back and work to the beginning, and we'll take a listen to that. Hit play. Rivers, a poem by Corinthian Danish. Rivers are like the veins in a body. They carry the blood of a nation. All right, so that sounds good. Now, if we had something in there, if you had like, let's say that there was a little static or maybe somebody knocked on your door or something, what you can do is you can also use the zoom tool, and I can take and I can zoom in and see I can get really fine to where that's at. And then I hit my selection tool, hit the space bar, and if there's something there, I could just take it, I could highlight that and hit delete, and it would take that out. And to unzoom, I'm going to hit the zoom, right click, and it zooms back out to where I was. So again, left click to zoom in, right click to zoom out. So I've got my story here about rivers, but I want to add some kind of background to it. So I'm going to go File, I'm going to import an audio file, and I'm going to go grab this river, and I found this on freeplaymusic.com, and I just went and found one on rivers. So I'm going to mute this one so we can just hear the river for a second here. Go back up to my selection tool. Now, you notice how loud that was. Well, we don't want that to be that loud when I'm trying to read my poem. So I'm going to take and I'm going to adjust my poem where that spacing's at. So I'm going to use my double arrow there and move it out just a little bit so I kind of have a little bit of an intro, and then I have my final piece there at the end. So now that I've done that, I have the fade tool, third thing we're going to talk about today. The fade tool, what that allows me to do is it allows me to fade that music, that background music of the river, and make it just not quite as loud as it is to begin with. So I click this tool, and I'm going to come down here and I'm going to click once, and then I'm going to move over a little bit, and I'm going to click twice. Now notice I'm getting close to where I'm starting to talk, because that's where I want that fade to start doing. I need to do it at the beginning, and I also need to do it here towards the end. And now that I do that, now what I can do is I can take and I can click and I can start to shrink that down to where it's going to be quieter while I'm speaking. And again, you can adjust that. And so let's go here, get our selector tool, start at the beginning, and see what that sounds like. Rivers, a poem by Corinthian. Now it sounds like the river here is a little too loud right now, so let's go ahead and make that down a little bit more. All right, and let's go back and see what that sounds like. Rivers, a poem by Corinthian. Rivers are like the veins in a body. Okay, now I don't like this little part where I'm kind of introducing her name. I don't think I pronounced it right. So I'm going to highlight that, and I'm going to hit delete, take that piece out. Now I'm going to come back down here and grab my fade tool, and I'm going to stretch this back out a little bit more as we go through. And I think we're probably pretty close to where we want to be. Rivers are like the veins in a body. They carry the blood of a nation. Rivers are rich. Now, some people will say that, it's kind of nice that if you do something here at the beginning with the fade tool to where you fade the music in, and so it's not as loud right at the beginning. So maybe you do something like this and change that to my selection tool. Start here at the beginning. Rivers are like the veins in a body. They carry them. So you can kind of see how that works with that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take and we're going to export this. So go File, and we're going to Export. And we want to save it as an MP3. And we're going to do rivers. I'm going to save that into my Audacity folder that I've got. And hit OK. And you'll get this little window that pops up. Hit OK on that. And again, this is making one final MP3 that you can take and save and share. So now I'm going to take and I'm going to minimize that. I'm going to go find that folder. And there's the river final draft. So I'm going to bring that in. Okay, here we go. Rivers are like the veins in a body. They carry the blood of a nation. Rivers are rich during monsoons. All right, so there you can see that we've got our final product. In my final draft here, the water still might be a little too loud, so I might want to go back and decrease that a little bit more. But you can play around with that until you're happy with the final product. And that's all it takes to make a recording with Audacity.